All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Bison, aka Bison Trades, and we are back with another episode of RareFUD Radio, episode number 38, talking a little bit about the year and what a wild ride it's been. We're going to be talking about the year in review. We're going to be talking about 2023 forecast. We're going to be talking about mints. We had like 3 good mints that have happened over the past 24, 48 hours since our last episode, and a ton to cover. So joining me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, brother Dorian. Dorian, how you doing today, my man?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Super excited to be here. You know, as I always say, every day is a holiday, and I'm ready to kick it off going into the new year, man. We got not only Joe, but a very special guest here today that I'm excited who's on RareFUD for the first time. So, yeah, man, ready to get after it.
That's right. And then, of course, we got all deuced. Joe Soul, how you doing, my man?
Hey, we living today, baby. We live. We live in action.
Oh,
Send me Dr. Joe today. Let's go.
Let's go.
You can see, you know what I'm saying? Office is in shambles. I'm about to tear out all this wood paneling, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
Dude, I know how that goes. We ended up just painting ours white, so I know how that struggle goes. We just kind of looked at it and said, you know what? This looks pretty good white, and turned out all right. But paneling's no joke, man, so good luck with that task. Joining us for the first time, one of the good friends of the show, one of our favorite content creators over on Twitter, one of the co-hosts of No Fluff Radio over there, No Fluff Entertainment, Solami Mommy. How you doing, Solami Mommy, Mr. Soul Sniper himself?
Boys, how are we doing?
Yo,
Long
what's up,
time
dog?
listener, first time caller. A pleasure.
That's right. That's right. You
Thanks
know,
for having me.
we usually cut it up in the old No Fluff space, which happens every single day, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got to give the boys a shout out with Lou, Benny Threads, and Salami Mommy over there. If you guys haven't listened, go ahead and check it out. This is one of the best conversational spaces over there. You got a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of alpha, a lot of headlines. We always talk about it. And man, it's nice to have you on our show as well. Salami Mommy, how are you doing, man? How are you feeling about this market? What's going on right now?
Dude, I am doing surprisingly really well. Like, you know, don't look at the price of Sol. Outside of that, things are great. Like, I'm up at night this past week. That's how I know there's a lot of movement in the markets. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. to look at prices. There's just stuff going on, man. We're seeing, you know, there's some bad stuff on the Sol side, but there's a lot of good stuff on the NFT side lately. So it's been fun. I'd rather have this happen where we go down and then at least there's stuff going sideways and it's just death by boredom. So you know what? I'm trying to make the best of a bad situation. I'm having more fun this week than I think I've ever had in NFTs in a long time.
Yeah, dude, there's been a ton of movement. We're certainly going to go over it. We always do our market overview. For those new to the show, welcome in. You can follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure you are checking in with the podcast platform as well. We do try to make it as easy as possible to catch all of the sweet, sweet content, whether it's on your drive into work, whether you do have the time and you want to get away from work and watch the stream live. We try to make it easy for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the market overview. We do have 400K Solana volume still cooking right now. Everybody says, you know what, single digit Sol, might as well spend it. We got a lot of spenders right now. We have about 7,000 buyers, which is nice to see. We are still the second biggest blockchain by buyers by volume for NFTs. So you love to see it. This is, look, we are down 96% from our all-time highs. I think we might even be 97 now. We are at $8.89 salami. Like that is down horrendous. Yet we are still cooking over here. So, you know, I always say that compared to the 2017, 2018 sort of bear start of the bear where everybody just absolutely exited, and people are still sticking around and buying NFTs. NFTs are still what makes a bear market fun. And as you can see by the volume, people tend to agree. So want to kick it over to you guys. Let's go Dorian, then Salami, then Joe. Dorian, how are you feeling about the market right now? What's going on?
Man, I'm all things considered with Sol's price action, and I'm feeling pretty good about the market. Like as Salami said, NFTs are still cooking. Like which is surprising because usually on these pullbacks in price of Solana, we usually see things turned kind of bearish in NFTs, but that's not the case this time. It all kicked it off with the NFT-fi meta, then DeGods exiting the ecosystem, made a lot of projects start announcing things to push towards that #1 spot. We got Tile Pilots minting today, but Immortals is also cooking as well. So yeah, man, it's a lot of activity, but it's not even only on the NFT side, it's also on the meme coin side. Bonk has been printing, for me at least, depending on where you purchase it at. I was fortunate enough to get an airdrop of a sizable portion. I brought some early just because of who's backing the project. And man, I've been, bonking it up over here.
Right, dude. Bonk. We will certainly talk about Bonk because, man, it has absolutely ripped. It made Solana fun again. Yeah, Solami, how are you doing over there, SM?
Dude, great. You guys talked about it. Like, bonk, man, it's fun. This is what we needed. We needed something like this to make NFTs fun again, make crypto fun again. Who really cares price going up or not? Just make it interesting, something to watch, something to tweet about. That's all we can ask for. And it's just been fun. It's just been fun doing that. And I hope that kind of continues into the start of next year. We're seeing a ton of unique buyers come in that we haven't seen in a while. So there's attention here still, and there's volume here. So those are good signs. I like that. It's healthy.
Yeah, it does feel like a super healthy market, honestly. Like I'm having a lot of fun, still making trades, still seeing things go up. I think, with a lot of the shakeup that, the wake of DeGods and Utes announcing they're leaving the Solana blockchain, it just felt like this is the time. Everybody's scrambling to position themselves to take that top spot whenever they do leave. We got memes for days between Bonk and everything like that. We have, these projects that are trying to make the jump up into blue chip, which we kind of talked about on last episode. And some of them are already making monumental moves. So, Joe, kick it over to you, my man. What's going on? How are you feeling over there?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I'm the most excited I've been in this market for a long time, just because it's been fun again. It's been projects pumping. Regardless, Sol price has completely left my brain under 14. I just don't even think about it. Don't look at it. I'm just trading NFTs to stack and compound. So literally, it doesn't bother me that Sol's down at this point. I'm just trading the volatility. And you can still make profits if you put in a fresh portion, okay, here's $100 now of Solana, and you start trading that. That's fresh profits, right? It doesn't have to go crazy. So that's kind of where I'm at. Little fresh money in the game, playing with some SPL tokens right now. And then just trying to actively take profits on that just to keep me engaged. I have my Web 2, obviously. This isn't my only source of income. So this is kind of my getaway. I used to play a lot of video games and stuff. So instead of that, I gamify my finance now.
Same here, dog.
Yeah, this is the video game. I know we say that a lot, but
it's true.
It is. I get the same amount of rush and stuff from the I used to play a good bit of Hearthstone and some more strategy games and stuff like that. This is strategy. You're analyzing stuff, you're taking in what's happening in the market, and you're kind of making your positions or moves within this game accordingly, and it's fun. Solana's down terribly. I am hoping, I am praying that we hold kind of that high 7s, low 8s, because it looks like it's heading there pretty quickly. If we don't, it is pretty much clear skies to the ground, basically. To $3.80 to $4.50. I mean, those are the two levels I would look at. I hope we don't get there. I think the one time that's different this time around with Solana versus Ethereum back in 2018, when, a lot of fortunes were made, that $80 ETH moment where it rose to prominence. I think the big difference is the state of the market and the fact that, I did not expect SBF to actually be active in the market, which he is definitely coordinating. This is not really organic price action, and you can tell that there is definitely market dumping past a lot of supports that we should have seen hold up pretty well. But a lot of net selling happening in the market. It will be curious to see. We are not financial advice, guys. I mean, the chances of us absolutely collapsing is just so minimal, because this ecosystem is so alive. The builders are here. And it just goes to that moment that we are going to see how much tech matters, because the whole reason Bonk was made is because Solana's tokenomics suck. The distribution of Solana sucked. I mean, I went to VCs and a bunch of other investors and backers. Inflation is too high. We have vesting schedules that are unlocking, on top of the fact that it's compounded with We started out at about 8%, I think, inflation. And it kind of curves down. Our target inflation is 2%, but it's not going to happen for a while. And that's why Bonk was made. I mean, it was kind of a meme coin, like let's make some fun in the market, but also at the same time, like I know the people who are backing it are frustrated with Solana. They're looking at it like we have all the tech in the world. It's so efficient as a blockchain, and it's down 97%. And you can see why. It's the tokenomics. So we'll see if that prevails. I don't know what narrative pulls us out of here, but I certainly know that buying right now, which I have already done, and I plan to continue to do so, will probably prove to be either very profitable or a miserable decision. We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out in the next year or so.
Doug, I'm right there with you. Like we were talking before we got on stream, but I don't think people factor in risk management a lot, or like risk reward comparisons a lot. Let's say you put in $1,000, sub $10 at Sol. Literally, the worst thing that can happen is you lose $1,000. But if you're right and Sol breaks all-time highs again, that's a 20x from this point. So you're looking at potentially 20K from investing $1,000. I think my math is correct. Don't quote me on that. But regardless, it's still a 10x at least from here back to $100. And that's a risk I'm willing to take in my opinion. And I think that's what happens with people a lot in NFTs and even Bonk. It's like Bonk came out immediately after. People are like, oh, it's a meme coin. It's a meme coin. I'm not touching this. Why not touch it, dog? You're literally, people sold off. It's literally the lowest it's probably ever going to go because it's a brand new token. Why not throw $50 to $100 in there to see what happens? So I think people rely too much on what Twitter timeline says or what their influencers they're following, instead of just thinking logically about these things and really comparing risk-reward returns.
Yeah, I mean it's true, dude. Bonk's crazy. Let's go ahead and talk about Bonk because I think yeah, it is going bonkers. If you guys don't know what Bonk is, it was airdropped to NFT holders. It was airdropped to developers, artists. 50% of it was withheld for liquidity purposes, mainly going to be filling dexes and everything like that. And it has absolutely taken off. If you guys were around when we talked about it on last episode, it was about I'll call it 2 Satoshi cents because it's basically dollars to the 8th decimal place. So we're just gonna call it sats for right now. It was at 2 sats. It is now at 9 sats. It keeps wanting to push up towards 10 sats. I'm upset because Jupiter Aggregator recently announced limit orders. I was hoping it would fill. It was definitely at my buys, and now it's taking off again, and I'm very upset about it. So maybe it's just because it's in beta. I don't know. This is a fun coin, though. This is volatile. This is the fact that there's only a 10 mil market cap coin, and we've seen how powerful memes are. Solami Mommy, how are you doing with Bonk? Are you trading it right now? Are you doing anything in particular with it?
Yeah, dude. So I love it. There is nothing more fun than something that we all got for free. And that's what I think is just going to make this like such a cool run. Like I saw it right on Christmas, I was looking, I think I had like a bonk. I was a bonk billionaire, just about around that much. And I was like, this is like a couple Sol. It's like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Sol, but at under $10 prices, I don't really care about selling for these profits. So I was like, I'm just going to hold on to this. I was like, at least minimum, the guys making this coin, they're not going to let it go right to zero. They probably got something up their sleeve. So I was like, let me see what this can do on the exciting side. So I did sell like a bit right after one of the pumps. And then I was like, you know what? I'm seeing this now. It's actually getting some legs. So I bought back in. I bought in a little bit more. And it's just been fun to watch. I'm not going to throw a ton of money into it. But like you guys said, like right now, it's just like a meme coin kind of rally when Sol is like having so much issues. It's a fun just kind of experiment because so many people got it for free that like you see that social sentiment that you don't see for a lot of things. Like it is a joke where people are like bonk to $1. It's going to go crazy, like this energy that's what onboarded a lot of people to crypto was your Dogecoin, your Shiba, the ones that did that and had these kind of crazy run ups. And Dorian, you said it where you're like, you just got to kind of think about it rationally. Like this is irrational. The whole thing's going to be irrational. I think that's what makes it fun and has this opportunity. It's like, there's going to be people that notice and look in their wallets and go, holy crap, I got 10 Sol in here. And, there will probably be people that buy the top of this and, they get burnt on it bad. But if you got this for free for me, I'm like, this is a fun ride to be on. Worst case scenario, I don't lose anything. Best case, I get to enjoy some fun memes on it. And I just think it's one of those economics of it versus like SAMO or something that was here in the past. Totally different kind of thing. And I think this actually will have some sort of, kind of utility or do some stuff for Solana. So I'm pretty excited for it. I just want to see what they've got cooking up. I know they've been working on this for a while. So not something to write off at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, this is just, it's fun for a lot of people. We all got, like, you are rewarded if you are still here. That's amazing. To me, that is like one of the best utilities. It's one of the best presents. I feel like that also breeds a little bit of loyalty to it, where people are like, I'm not really touching this coin until it makes me a millionaire or goes to zero. I got it for free, like, so you have the people that are holding it. You have the people that are actually filling the Orca order book by providing liquidity over there. So you can do it in either the Bonk Sol pair, I think is the only one up actually. You should be able to do it in Bonk USDC as well. But I know for a fact you can do it in Bonk Sol. So, the people that are swapping and going in and out, the more liquidity that happens and more swapping that happens, the more money you get for providing this liquidity. And you got it for free. So if you had Sol just sitting in your wallet, you also had this Bonk, you can now provide liquidity to this liquidity pool and get these swap fees. Like, dude, people are making passive income on imaginary fund money that got sent to us, an airdrop. Like, that is awesome. So Bonk is great. I'm a big fan of Bonk. I like the tokenomics behind it. It is deflationary. I think that's one of the big things about it. I want to kick it over to you, Dor, real quick about your thoughts on Bonk, and then we'll go over to Joe.
Yeah, I think Bonk is, it kind of caught the NFT vibe. I think it kind of released at a perfect time because we saw all this life flow in the NFT market, and that kind of bounced back over to Bonk when people were like, oh man, I got this for holding certain NFT, specifically Cyber Samurai. I know we got a ton of Bonk, so I'm pretty happy about that. And for me, it's like, I look at Bonk as a fun activity. It's like, people like, oh, this is going to zero and this is going to zero. Honestly, anybody saying that this is going to zero, I kind of counter trade them. I'm like, this thing's going to pump. It's like, those are the same people who were fading Dogecoin. I'm like, while you are correct that this logically should go to zero, it won't. Why? Because as even Solami said, this march was irrational and it's fun. That's all people care about, is just having fun. So I think that hopefully, optimistically, Bonk is going to become like the staple meme coin of Solana. And if it totally has already been retweeting about it, if I'm not mistaken. And if it does, it's viable to catch those narrative Doge or Dogecoin wins overall, like Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, whenever Elon talks about it, to get a Dogecoin pump later on in the future, and especially during a bull market. If this thing hells around, even if it's crabbing for months at a time, Dogecoin slept for crabbing for like 13 years before it finally popped off. So instead of trying to look at that short-term profit, just grab a little moon bag that could be 100, 200, 300, whatever you can afford, and just let that thing sit. Sometimes it's better not to take that 10x when it can do 100 or 1,000x in the future.
Yeah, especially if your cost basis is nothing, that's always kind of what we trade for, and we talk about it a lot with risk management of you're going for a 2x and hopefully you grab 2 or 3 NFTs or something, and then you can sell off one and cover the cost basis of the other. So depending on your multiple, if it goes up 4x, you bought 4 of them, you can sell one and you're writing the other 3 for free, and it's always thinking of that way for risk management. If you have more of a medium term time frame, like Dorian does, like I do to some extent. But let's kick it over to Joe, our resident trader over here. Joe, have you been having fun with Bonk? Have you been trading it? What's going on over there?
Yeah, man, I've definitely been trading it. I was able to get a nice bag from an airdrop, obviously. So it's kind of like it's kind of easy to trade it because your value proposition's there no matter what, really. As long as it doesn't go to $0, you still are profiting. So I'm kind of just chilling, trying to add to it now. I took some profits around the 11th spot, and I didn't hit the 13th spot, but right before that, like 12th spot. So yeah, I'm actually this 9th spot right now, or this 7th spot looks pretty good to re-enter. But yeah, man, it's fun, right? Why not? And like Mommy said, there might be some stuff down the line that adds some utility to it, not just being a pump and dump meme coin. There might be some cool stuff coming behind the scene here. So yeah, we shall see. We love stuff like this in our ecosystem, especially when it's a crab market. We need something to keep us going.
Yeah, I mean, look, people just need a narrative to kind of ride right now, right? Like we do need a little hopium because, man, if you look at the Sol chart, it doesn't look good. There is no end in sight right now. We don't know how big of a chest that Sam is trading with, or trading against us, I guess, if you're taking a long position like I did yesterday. I did. I called on Twitter. It was way too soon, as far as generational bottom. I knew it, honestly, but I do think if we're looking at the chart, which I can go ahead and share my screen real quick, I do think that somewhere in this gray box is probably going to be where we end up. If we go down to like 450 to 3.8, I think R89 actually said it best, where he was talking about, we're getting to a point where some people are going to look at the price of Sol who have never used it, and they're going to look at the price and be like, why not? And just buy in, and I think if we get to that level, I'm kind of excited for that level. If we get more people onboarded because they're like, dude, this was 260 at one point. You're telling me I can get in at $3, $4, even $8 right now. Shoot,
Yeah,
why not? I've been around. I've seen Ethereum. I'm gonna look to buy, and I know a lot of traders are looking more so in this area right here, anywhere from that mid threes to fives range. And that's when they're planning on buying in, and they're looking to buy in 2023. So, that could be the narrative that we ride into. If you can withstand kind of the bleed that we're seeing right here, then why not? And so I will continue to DCA. I'll continue to trade ranges when I see it fit or anything like that. But until then, bonk is fun. Bonk is in an uptrend. If you look at Solana inverse, that's what a bonk chart looks like, bro. That's exactly what we're trading. So
bonk is the hedge against Sol, dude.
Who would have thought too? A meme coin is on Solana is actually the hedge against Solana, more so than stapling up, and it's way more fun. I don't know about you guys. I never get excited when I go into USDC, but about bonk. Ooh, I can make money on bonk. So exactly. So I'm going to keep playing bonk. We did get another release today, probably the most hype mint we've seen since Utes, and dude, it absolutely ripped. If you got onto the site, they're already sitting at 10,494 minted. And we are, of course, talking about Tayo Pilots. Tayo Pilots is something we have talked about on this channel for a long time. Wasn't sure when it was going to come, and today is the day. Guys, I want your opinion on it. One, have you already minted? Two, what faction did you get? If you guys haven't seen yet, you can go on SoulScan. Mine didn't show up in my wallet immediately, but it was a smooth minting experience. I just wish it showed up in my wallet. So I had to go on SoulScan and check my wallet out, see the transactions, and I did see I pulled resistance. Let's go. I'm in Manny's faction. You'll love to see it, but kind of want to get your opinions on it. Solami, we'll kick it off with you, then we'll go with Joe, and then Dorian.
Yeah, I minted super smooth, super easy mint too. Nice work by them. We've had some issues too, I know, with some other launch pads lately. The same one, I think, twice in 2 weeks. So there was a super easy, super smooth, super quick. So I'm going to have to FUD the resistance. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to FUD them down until we can get an arbitrage up, and then I can switch over to them. Then I'll be a massive resistance maxi. But no, I'm excited. I am a known trader. I am a Costco hot dog flipper. I am a, see, this is one that like I've been looking at for so long. This is a throw it into the wallet. Probably don't change it too much. Maybe like trade it for a different one. But like I just wanted exposure to Tayo. I'm so excited for this. It's coming at like a perfect time. I really think like we're seeing these users come back in, these buyers in the market. We're seeing still seeing more upgrade and sold total volume. That's awesome. So I'm just really excited for what they can kind of do here with Tayo. And I'm excited to see Tom be more active in spaces and kind of do that push. Cause I think that to me as a critic of Tayo was always just need more out of you guys. You've just been a little quiet. Maybe you're holding, and I think that they're really going to flip the script on that. So man, I'm really excited for this one. I think it has some legs here. So let's see what they got cooking.
Yeah, no, look, you're right, Salami. They could not have timed this better. And it just worked out like that too. I don't think they were planning on this or anything like that. They might have known. I know the founders do have a chat, just from, being with Stud from Remnants, where a lot of the founders are in like a Telegram group. But yeah, you could not have timed this better. When Frank announces that he's leaving Solana for Ethereum and Polygon, you now get this top spot opening up. And what better way to stake your claim than launch your first project that isn't a derug? And this is the first one that Tom has had where he got to build it from the ground up. And if that doesn't excite you, what he's built with stuff that he was provided, like he did not get to mess with scrap tokenomics. He did not get to mess with the Tayo art too much. I know you could change stuff out with scrap and whatnot, but this is his first baby. So I'm super excited to see what happens with Tayo pilots. And I think it'll really form the narrative of what Tayo actually wants to do moving forward. Joe, let's kick it over to you, and then let's go to Dorian. What are your thoughts on pilots? Joe, I know you got like 5 lists, dude. I know that's between your oils and your mint passes and everything like that, but what did you get? What's your thoughts on Tayo pilots right now?
Yeah, man. So my first 4 were the Resistance, Enforcer. What else here? Sorry, I can pick this up real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, we got. Oh, I don't know why they don't want to come up for me now. Did I get rugged? Nope. Operator, Resistance, Rebel, and Enforcer. Is there 4 factions?
Yeah, you got all 4, bro.
Okay. So we're out here, bro. We're out here. Now, I'm holding these tightly. I am maybe, full disclosure, flipping 1 or 2, depending, to get an infant, because I want pilots, infant, Gen 1, oil. That's my goal, is to have the complete set for Tayo, throw them in a ledger, and let Tom rock. Same way I look at literally SMB, D-Gods, and Cyber Sam now. I've been low-key. I just started posting because I've gotten my bag where I want it. But low-key, I think that's another squad, too. I know we're biased, but all jokes aside, that I've been loaded on. So that's how I'm kind of looking at Tyler, too, a ledger play.
Yeah, I think it is. I think you're absolutely right. I'm curious to see what they do with it. Dor, since you are the OG Tayo holder, not so anymore, but that's okay. You flipped it into a SMB, which I know was a priority for you, so I'm happy for you. But
Thanks, man.
pilots, what do you think about pilots? Where are we going with this?
Yeah, man. For pilots, it's so crazy because it's like Joe and Solami are taking the opposite approach than I am. I'm like selling mine ASAP, dog. Like, if I wanted an entry into the Tayo ecosystem, I would have still held my Gen 1 or infant. Nothing against Tom. I'm like super interested in seeing what they do, but as I voiced before, and one of the reasons why I rotated out of Tayo is because there's a lot of execution risks involved in all the ventures that they're trying to do, and it just makes me a little uncomfortable. However, that doesn't overlook the fact that like people are super excited about Tayo pilots, as they should be. It's a super exciting time. I love how they have these 4 different factions competing against each other, which forms like sub DAOs within the overall collection. And we've been talking about Tayo for months. We've been talking about Tayo since people were fudding pilots and like, oh, this isn't going to do well, blah, blah, blah. How could we have known everybody was going to be hype about this? So I'm looking to exit my position in pilots ASAP. So if I can get around 35 to 40 sold, that will be great for me. And I'm honestly stacking soul right now to either pick up another SMB or look at another top collection to pick up, man. I just don't know how long we're going to be in this bear market. So just trying to accumulate more high valued nothing against Tayo, like more. I just feel comfortable being an SMB right now over the long term and just seeing what happens from there.
Oh, how the turntables, man. Look at this. Dor is the one who's selling and the traders are holding. What kind of world are we in, dude? We are in the upside down right now. This is wild, but I mean, that's fair, Dor. If you get a good price on it, then so be it. I mean, sell it, lock in that profit. I'm just more so curious. Got pilot listed. I'll hold on to it longer than I do most NFTs and just kind of see what happens with it. But I think the fact that I mentioned resistance was all I needed to know that I am staying within pilots for at least the medium term. So we'll see. We'll see if it brings fun to the ecosystem. And I think that's what we're all bullish on right now, especially in a bear market. You just want fun, dude. That's what bonk is. That's what pilots will hopefully be. But nonetheless, dude, infrastructure plays have been cooking. And we got 2 that I think are interesting. One, more so on the gaming side from what I understand about the project. And then the other one is more of a social aspect and rewarding holders that are actively participating in their ecosystems. The first one is Immortals. And then the second one is Nomads. Let's start off with Immortals because honestly, flew under the radar for me, and these things are cooking. They were about a 3 soul, 4 soul mint. 50% of them were pre-sold, which that is not bearish news anymore. I know, like if you think about Rakudos, where they had the pre-sale, they didn't do the vesting schedule right and everything like that, and basically just market dumped all of that supposedly locked supply. Now people are getting more aware to the fact that we need a vesting schedule and everything like that. So, yeah, let's start with Immortals. I want to kick it over to you, Solami, because I know you were big on Immortals, and they're doing really well. They're up like 3x depending on what your whitelist status was. What's the TLDR on them? What do you think about them?
Yeah. So I actually didn't have these on my radar. Like the chats I'm in, actually Crypto Wasta, if anyone knows him, he's a pretty known trader as well. He was super hype on these, and he was saying it a whole bunch. He was like, they have like critters like pixel art. I don't think the quality is quite as good, but it's still very good for pixel art. And they've done a lot of stuff on the one of one side that they've had, I think, some soul or something. So it kind of made sense. They've got a live platform as well already before the product launches. That's exciting. And like you said, I think they have a pre-sale with a 3-day lockup too. So there was just some interesting stuff going on. I was able to get yesterday somehow on the OG list. I don't know. It minted on Elixir at 3 Sol, and then the button was still just lighted up black. Usually it dulls it out after you mint. So I clicked on it again, minted a second one, and then I was like, wait, what the hell? Because it's supposed to be one wallet person. I refreshed, and then all of a sudden it blacked out the box. And then they were having some issues later with the Elixir launchpad, which I know we saw as well. So 2 kind of strange things going on there. But yeah, my cost basis was 3. So they unlocked them. It instantly went up to like 10 Sol as soon as it got unlocked. So yeah, I floored mine right away. Like not that I'm saying I don't like the project. I think it's great. It's already like live. But if you see something that goes 3 as soon as it releases, it's almost always going to be a retrace, like 95% of the time. So not saying I don't like the project, but I just like a 3x pretty cleanly right there. So I sold out. Probably going to look to maybe buy back in or play some volume, just because I've seen a lot of volume kind of come on those things. It's a way you got pilots coming out that'll be trading on secondary later today. You have these, you have We Sleep, I think, coming out. So there's just a lot of stuff. So I'm a little scared with how can all this volume go to different places. So yeah, I exited a little bit early on those, but I've just seen a lot of people being pretty hype on these. So this is definitely one to keep an eye on too. And that 3 days until those pre-mints get unlocked, maybe could be some nice movement in the next couple days here. Or if you're looking for a cheaper entry, maybe give it those 3 days till some of those unlocks come out, and then snipe something a little bit lower. So definitely cool to see something go out and on a mint price. Plus they've got a little bit of a low supply too, 3.3K. Which I love. I love anything under like a 5K right now in this market. It's just so much easier to move than a 10K or something. So really cool to see that.
It's true. And you hit a few things like directly on the head. As far as mint price go up that quick after minting is almost always going to be a retrace. We've seen some of the more successful longevity projects lately have actually gone under mint price, and then they have a slow grind up. Underground Society is probably the one that's most known these days, but also Wise Whales. I mean, yeah, Wise Whales. I just sold one this morning for 12 Sol from a 5 Sol mint, and I love it. Yeah. I love these slow mints right now. It's bringing back like the glory days when not everybody was turned on to Solana NFTs just yet, and I'm about it, dude. If we're gonna keep getting this kind of mint price and mint action, I'm here for it. And I think another one that we'll get into in a second is Nomads. I think it'll be somewhat of a similar play to UGS and Wise Whales, but I want to kick it over to you, Dor. Do you know anything about Immortals, and are you going to be looking to buy or sell or anything like that?
Yeah, you know me, man. I don't really keep up too much with mints. I got a Nomads whitelist from SMB, so then I minted one of those. I can see that it didn't do well. Shows why I don't mint, because anything that I do mint typically doesn't pop off. So I was like, 3 Sol, whatever. But yeah, man, I don't really know too much going on with projects that are coming to mint, just because I don't dabble in that side of the market too much. It's like if it's around a couple weeks later and I research it and I'm like, okay, this is it, then I'll pick it up. But I don't really mess around with new mints too much.
Yeah, I know you don't. So we will revisit that hopefully when it is has retraced and we all find our entries. But Joe, want to kick it over to you. Did you know anything about Immortals? Because we haven't talked about it on RareFUD, which is a very rare thing. Usually you and I are at least on most of the mints or most of the mints that are going to do well. Did you mint this? Did you trade it? Have you heard of it?
No, I didn't trade this at all. I didn't. I think it's pixelated art, right?
Yeah,
Pixelated art.
Pretty good pixel art. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Is it like a raid to earn type of deal, like Ghost Kid? That is it like that? You didn't even know because I didn't even see this, to be honest. I saw a picture of it. I think
like a casino type play. I think like it's in that type of thing with possible rev share.
Yeah. So yeah, we have this catalyst.
I haven't gotten on and used it, but yeah.
Nice, mommy. Thank you. Yeah. So those catalysts are there for the short term pump, then, huh? I mean, the meta seems like we were talking today on No Fluff, and we were saying how casino mechanisms, they kind of can grab both hype cycles in the bear and the bull, right? Because either in the bull, you got money flying around with your homies, you're out here bidding on stuff, you're taking raffles, you're at the casino, you're playing slots, gambling, whatever. And in the bear, same thing. Your crab market, the people that are still here and normally degen and haven't lost their whole bag, most likely. Some have, and they're just very angry. Others are here, crab market, playing degen stuff, playing gambling games. So like gambling meta can catch both extremes in bear and in bull, so it makes sense that they're dropping right now.
Yeah, I think the reason I don't want to miss this, if it does go back down to a good buying price, it does go back down to mint price, is we saw what happened with dual bots, which is something that I completely missed. I absolutely missed it, and that thing ripped, dude. That is one of the best performing assets over the past week or so. And I mean, it went up to 100 soul, man. Like these things went nuclear. And I think the one thing that dual bots did really well is it's fun mechanics. If you guys looked at some of the videos, I know one of the big guys that are playing right now is Sugar, who caught on recently. And Sugar's been around for a while, but was one of the big guys who started the raffle meta almost. I don't want to say started it, but he started gaming the system really well. He started looking into it and being very successful on that front. And he's like that kind of max degen sort of guy that is the perfect person to advocate for dual bots. So I think if Immortals if it is kind of a casino play or a gambling play, and they find the right people to advocate for their project, then dude, we could see some massive action in it. And I think these we saw it in the boredom meta, right? Where gambling, especially when you're at a low cost for soul, people are looking for those degen 100x's. We're going to start seeing soul crash and stuff start taking off here again soon. So if we go back into this boredom gambling meta, then this is a play that we should probably be taking an eye at, a look at, and keep an eye on. So definitely think there's something there. I need to look into it more. Again, flew completely under my radar, but dual bots did too, and we saw what happened with it. So I think this is definitely one that, do your own research. Make sure you're, not financial advice or bozos trading JPEGs, as we always say on the show. But definitely one to watch. I think another one to watch, though, with the infrastructure play is going to be Nomads. Dor, did you have any final thoughts on Immortals before we move on?
Yeah, it was more on like degen gambling plays. Like as you and all the other guys were saying, it's like the gambling meta is always around, bull or bear. So it's important to like get into one of these. I don't want to say sustainable, but one of these projects that you think will be around a while. And usually like things like Soul Crash and degen Coin Flip aren't going there. So with the variety of different gambling plays you could get, I'm still most bullish on degen Fat Cats, man. Just because degen Coin Flip is probably the OG gambling project, and degen Fat Cats have been steadily gaining in floor price, man. I remember when they first minted, they started hovering around 10 soul, then they even around 15. Those things are at 30 soul, man. So they're one of the few NFTs that have been like slowly creeping up, even as Solana's price been going down. And if I got to be bullish on any project, gambling project long term, is degen Fat Cats easy.
Yeah, I would. Degen Fat Cats are definitely the safest play, probably if you're going to look at gambling of any sort, because I do think they are. When somebody says, "Hey, I want to gamble," the first thing they're going to think of is going to be degen Coin Flip. So you're going to always get some sort of steady income from them of some sort, because they are, and another one that people often overlook is Foxy. Foxy has a coin flip as well. So the famous foxes do and you can gamble with other SPLs as well. So if we are going into a DGen meta, do Foxes have everything covered, man? They literally have everything covered. They got the token market covered. They got raffles covered. They got coin flips covered. They got the Foxy Ding, so somewhat of a primitive messaging system between wallets until we start getting like dialect up and running and more widely adopted, I'd say. They got it all, man. So I think that Foxes are always just one of the ones that I think of when I think of an NFT that is sustainable in any sort of market, whether it's a bear, a bull, a crab, anything like that. They're the ones that are going to be around for a while. So I don't know. Maybe I have to rethink of getting into Foxes or something like that. Let's talk about nomads, because I do think this is going to be exactly like Wise Whales and UGS. And I think this is going to be one of those slow mints that they had to cut supply. And I think going back to your point, Mommy, this was a 10K collection, which probably was a little too ambitious in this market. There's 7K buyers, you know, and so you have to always factor that in. This is not a time for 10K collections. Yep. And I think like you said, I think 5K and under is really that sweet spot, which is, I mean, we're going literally back in time to when Solana NFTs, we didn't see a 10K collection. Like everything was 5,000 or less, or around that like 5,555 mark too. I saw a lot of those back in, you know, let's say before November and before. I mean, DGods was really like the first 10K that I saw do really, really well. And obviously we saw where that went, but it's just not a time for 10K collections. And I think Nomads had to cut their supply by 3,000. And what they're doing is they're not burning it or anything. It's just going to be held in a treasury wallet, which I'm bullish on. I actually think this is good. They've announced that there's going to be a vesting schedule. It'll be a 90-day lockup minimum on this supply. So, and then what they do with it, whether they open up a liquidity pool on Elixir or anything like that, I would imagine Elixir, because I think, did they mint on Elixir? I think they did.
Yeah, they did.
And I had a pretty good minting experience, but like you said, Solami, Elixir Launchpad has not been too hot lately. They have kind of fumbled the bag. They did it with Wise Whales, and you know, there has been some hiccups over there. So that's definitely something to watch. I know we're all big Ovals fans over here, but yeah, if they continue to have Launchpad issues, that might be something to check in on. But I do think, listen, TH has been around in this ecosystem for a while. He's got the Boogle. He will always have the Boogle backing over there just because he's a great guy and good for this ecosystem. If it's one thing I've learned, it's bet on people that are net positives for this ecosystem. We saw it with Wise Whales and Dave. We saw it with UGS and that whole team between Jacob, Light, and Searcher, and the rest of the team. I just think this is a play that, look, you can probably get it under mint. I will be completely forthright with you. We saw it between the other two mints that we mentioned. You will get it under mint most likely, so that 3 SOL price level, and then we'll start seeing a slow grind up when people start seeing like, oh man, this is something new. It's unique. You have social rewards for these that can be integrated. There's an art studio that's going to be involved with it. And I think it's a really fun play. I want to get your thoughts on it, Solami. Then we'll go over to Door and then Joe.
I love these. I really, really do like these plays where it is. I think a tough thing for projects is they try to force utility that isn't needed. And we see that a lot in this space because people always want to say, hey, what's the utility of this project? Why would I be buying in? But there's projects, and we sell exact same thing with Wise Whales, where it's not the sexy play. It's not that's going to come out of the gate 5x and, you know, get the community super hype about it. But you're seeing it right now with Wise Whales. They had a really slow mint out, and then they're up at, I think I saw them at 15 SOL last night. They're getting swept. And I'm kind of holding on to mine because I don't want anyone else to have access to the platform because that's how good it is. And that's what I think some of these utility plays are. Short attention spans. We don't do our research. We aren't able to keep up with everything because there's a lot going on. So until you see the utility later and you're like, whoa, these people already have something live. It's already working. This is how cool it is. Then it really kind of starts to get the, you know, that rep and it pumps and people are buying in later. So I am totally cool with a utility play, having a slow mint out, getting that organic amount of people that understand the product and they like it, getting in there. And I think you guys are spot on with this Nomads thing. It's going to be a slow burn here, But they got some cool stuff cooking up. Good, and I think it's going to be one to watch too. As well, we've talked about it too. There's a lot going on this week. So you have, people just after Christmas kind of sometimes can be a little bit quiet between here and the New Year's. Then you had pilots, you had immortals, you had some of these other big mints that are going to steal a lot of that liquidity. So they're going to fly under the radar. Look at and maybe get some cheaper entries on some of these, and then when people see what they've got cooking, they'll come back later and be buying it for a premium. So I'm interested to see what they can do. But like you said, I'm not scared of these slow mint outs. Like it used to be a death sentence. Now I don't think it is, especially for utility plays. But I would say, got to be a little bit more cautious in some of these supplies. These high supplies just make it very daunting from a mint side. If you go there and you see that it's 10% minted out and there's 10K supply, that's a lot of buyers. You have to come to get to the market to get it to mint out. When they're smaller supplies, even if it is a smaller percentage, you just need less buyers. And like we said, there's less than 10K buyers. We're almost up to 9K unique buyers today, though, which is awesome. But it's just tough to get that many people minting out some of these projects.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly tough. And again, I think we'll just see a reversion back to that sub 5K. I mean, we saw Immortals do really well at 3,000 supply, and I think a lot of projects will probably look at that and be like, maybe I should cut supply. I mean, Wise Whales cut their supply to 1,250, and that was kind of on part to Elixir's fumbling of their mint. Also, Nomads is doing the same thing, kind of in a lock supply, not a burn supply. I kind of wish they would cut supply. But I also know what they're building, they're going to need a budget for, and they're just assuming, hey, we'll get that cash flow later when we hit our price target. So it's a 90-day lockup, and then they'll adjust their strategy of offloading based on price targets hit, which I love. Then they're holders. I've always said,
yep,
you are a holder of the project. As a project owner, they are more incentivized than any sort of royalties because floor price go up. That's good for their treasury. So, we'll see it play out, and I'm excited to see if that's the sustainable model going forward. If we can't fix royalties, maybe this is a new play, and I'm excited to see how it all goes out. Door, want to kick it over to you. What are your thoughts on Nomads? Have you looked into what they're building over there?
So I do want to, before we hop on to Nomads, I do want to hit on what you and Solami talking about, like collection sizes in this market. I really think it kind of depends on what you're releasing. If you're more of a utility play, I think it's important to probably limit your supply in this market. You're not really trying to pump out like 10K PFPs like that. I think that's a bit of a stretch. But also, as we've seen pilots today, they're at 12.5K, but also there's nuance to that because they were a smaller community that needed to grow bigger. So if you're like already established and doing something like Pilot's doing, I think you're in a better position to do a larger supply. While like if you're coming to the market now with a utility or utility play, you probably try to limit the collection size. And I do agree with what's going to happen with Nomads. That just seems to be the trend right now. It's like we see these utility play collections either not fully mint out or barely mint out, fall below mint, and then rip post mint 2 weeks when people begin to utilize their platform. So the similar thing could go out with Nomads. We see the platform roll out, people start to use it, and then people become bullish on the project.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see how it all plays out because I do think they're building some cool stuff over there. I mean, what they have, I kind of like the art style. If you see it in the threads and stuff they have built out, it does look fun. It looks more like one-of-one art to me, in a sense of it has brush strokes and I don't know. It looks cool to me. Joe, I want to kick it over to you. Have you looked into Nomads at all before we proceed with our 2022 recap and 23 forecast?
Hey, no, I have not looked into them, but I am bullish on NFTs as a key, just a utility key, right? You can slap some art if you want, but I'm also good with it just being a key, right? Like, for example, Soul Sniper, right? We got Mommy here, legit, like, right, with their bot service where with trait rarity that you can add and the heat map and then 1 hour time for like everything they offer. If you made a NFT that was just a utility, you held it in your wallet, you get subscription-based forever, right? And they turn it into a subscription-based model, something of that. I'm into that. I really am. Making my life easier if it's a utility and I can pay $5 to $20 a month and that's correlated to maybe like a $200 spot price on that NFT and it's stuck in my wallet. Yeah, man, my value proposition is all the way there. But I think you have to be careful and it's a tight line or a tight rope to walk because certain utilities are just not needed. They're just not needed. I'm sorry. Like DJ News, like they were trying to pull 250K out of the ecosystem. Bro, y'all just are an aggregator of tweets. Like I get it. That's cool. I'm not knocking it. It's a hustle. But, you know, there's lemons and limes and apples and oranges. And all of them have the right, you know, fructose levels, but some are higher and lower than others. So you get what I'm saying? Some are sweeter, some are sour. But so my opinion, I think utility plays are really cool, but it depends if it's really needed and is it geared toward the consumer and not just, you know, your thought process of like what someone would want. Are you really in the ecosystem? Do you really know what people are using? Is your fingerprint on the heartbeat of the market? And if not, then I think you have to be careful with utility plays. Utility play founders have to be here. And they got to know what's going on.
Yep, it's true. And that, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons that I've always liked the utility plays of the recent ones we've seen is because the people do show up every single day and they do trade this market. So, you know, I know TH is involved. I know Light, Searcher, and Jake over with UGS were involved. And I know with Wise Whales, Dave was involved. I mean, he was showing up on spaces and everything like that. So I think you're right, Joe. You definitely have to look out for that kind of stuff. And you're not going to know if you are trying to kind of get involved in that utility play, if they're involved, if you're not involved. That sounded like a tongue twister, but let's go ahead and talk about 2022. Well, this has been a tumultuous year, guys. We have rode some highs, we have rode some lows, and it's been wild. I kind of want to kick it over to you guys, and we'll make this somewhat short and sweet. But if you are thinking of 2022 Solana NFTs, what was the standout moment for you in your highs and lows? Let's kick it over to, you know what, I'll go ahead and start first. If I were to think about it, I definitely think when I was kind of plotting out how much passive income I can make was probably a top signal on a lot of my plays. You know, I was doing Excel spreadsheets and stuff on Remnant Camp and how much I could earn there. And, you know, like, oh, if I transfer it to Sol, you know, I could be making like $200 a day. If I was, I'd say Step In was another one that I bought into the Ponzi. And I wasn't nearly as balls deep as some of these other people in the space, but man, buying into Step In and be like, dude, I could make like $20 a day just walking. That's an extra like $600 every month. Are you kidding me? That's fun money right there. Let's go. Solana NFTs aren't dying, and subsequently they did. So I think that was definitely like the peak signal for me. I'd say as far as like the most fun I've had was probably Remnant. I've just been with Remnants for the past year, and I have not stopped looting for the most part. There was a time where the game got a little too complicated, and I was like, this isn't fun anymore, guys. But you know, I just remember being in Discord, seeing how active it was. It still is, but not nearly as much as it was at the beginning of the year when Sol's like $200. Man, the vibes you got from Discord. Discord used to be fun, man. It's not anymore. I don't know what happened there. Probably the fact that Solana's down to $8 from 260, but nonetheless, I've just had a blast in 2022. Even with just how down bad Sol is right now, still having fun, still knowing that if we rebound, I have absolutely positioned myself for an incredible 2023, 2024, most likely, and onward. So I think for me, that was kind of what epitomizes 2022 for me. Let's kick it over to you, Dor. What's some highs and lows for you? And what's a moment that you think of in 2022 that just like is the capstone for you?
Yeah. So overall, man, I've had a great year in 2022, even with the price of Solana dropping. Like a lot of people don't know, but before I got in NFTs, like your boy was down bad. Like I'm talking about struggling. Like I have more money now than with my portfolio being down than I've ever had before. So like it's been an amazing year for me. All else things considered, some of the highlights this year was like just me like growing in Cyber Samurai. Like I just started off as a community member there and just working my way up to being the chief operations officer there. It's pretty incredible. Like you invited me to RareFUD. It was a highlight for me. It's because I was grinding on Twitter for a while, just trying to grow my audience. And it's like not even remotely huge, but I do appreciate like when you reached out to me to work with you and Joe, I was like, oh crap. Like, I guess I am doing something right. So that was cool. Like, and even I think one of the biggest achievements was just me purchasing my monkey this year. Like, oh man, it's like I've been looking at S&B since the beginning. Like, just that much. Like, we know the USD value fluctuated, but that's still a pretty high SOL value, man. That a lot of people don't that can't afford to have that much liquidity locked for a long period without needing to take out loans or do anything crazy with it. So like being able to like pick up a monkey was a pretty huge accomplishment for me, man. So over 2022 has been awesome year so far, and like things are picking up on the YouTube side and Twitter side of RareFUD, and I'm like, oh man, I'm pretty bullish on us going forward in the future.
Absolutely. It has been fun. And dude, I mean, RareFUD has been kind of the highlight of my week every single week, where I just get to come on and talk about NFTs, throw the Web2 job aside for a little bit, throw away the normal got to pay bills and stuff, and just talk NFTs with the boys. It has been fun. Joe, want to kick it over to you, and then we'll end with Solami Mommy. What's some things you thought of in 2022? What were some of the highlights and the lows?
Yeah, man. So highlights were, so lows were first getting in the market back October, November, and getting rugged on like Senshi Samurai and like these other projects that were 20, 30 Sol, when Sol was damn near $200. And I got rugged on a lot of stuff, like stuff that I just had no idea, right? Wild Wild West, we talked about it before. Highlights were finally finding the niche and realizing how the market moved and the hype cycles, and some of my big wins that propelled me. At one point between Tayo, between, Remnants, I was in Remnants very hard. Between DGOS, between all these places, like Bison was saying, I was making $600 to $900 a day passive income. And as a trader, I was blessed enough to just take profits. I was swapping everything in USDC all the way down to $80, right? So I was able to really capture opportunity costs from all my NFTs and then sell them for Sol as well. So that was my highlight. And low points were, just, the rugs that I endured. I lost a lot of Sol, like almost 3,000 Sol in my whole career off just getting rugged and bad plays. And like, I don't talk about losses a lot, guys, but there was times where I was 8K down in the hole and stuff, and like, man, I got to make it back. So it's not all glory here, but I am blessed to have found people like you, networking opportunities, real life friends that we've made, and like, really have changed a portion of my life for the better. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, it's been fun, man.
Yeah.
It has been a great year. SM, let's kick it over to you. How was your year? What are some highs and lows, and kind of a capstone of what you epitomize as the 2022 Solana year?
Yeah, man, it has been an absolutely insane year. I really kicked it kind of full-time crypto-ish to start this year, where I had like another Twitter account where I was kind of running, and then I didn't even start this account until May. I literally completely fresh in like Solana NFT Twitter space with this account mid-May. And I remember like 2 months in or a month in, I was like, I'm going to go full-time by the end of this year. I'm going to somehow make this happen. And little did I know that like less than 3 months later, I would be leaving my full-time Web2 job that was like pretty comfortable and nice to be able to do that, to go full-time in Web3 and work with Soul Sniper. So a crazy transition for me on that end. Just not something I truly expected. And it's really changed my life quite a bit in that ways, but it's been awesome. It's been such a fun experience to kind of do and actually enjoy like something I've never kind of felt this passion before. And that's awesome. And a lot of it is to tribute to like meeting you guys and doing some stuff with No Fluff too. Just a bunch of stuff that started as a hobby, literally turned into a career. And I couldn't actually believe that. So those are definitely the highlights. Had some low lights for sure. Funny. Took some big L's, took some really fat trades that stunk and I lost a lot of money on. But I think to me, like I always knew a bit that we would get to this space. So I was pretty cautious with a lot of it and taking out some profit and being able to just kind of sustain to it. A lot of it's good learning lessons too. So I just try to turn, those things that you did and filter those back in next time. Be like you said, when you were looking at how much money can I make on passive income? Same thing where I'm posting, oh my God, I'm up so much in a group chat. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's probably a good time to sell. So there's been a lot with that as well. And I think, hey, we're surviving when things change. I think we're going to be a lot more well equipped for the next kind of leg up and run maybe here in the future. So it was a crazy year to see Sol go from what it was to what it is now. I'm actually really excited for like the next year. I think we're going to be looking back in a year, maybe 2 years from now, and say, hey, remember that time we were on that space and Sol was literally crashing live, and what we could possibly be at then. So cautious optimism, but I think we're going to be a little bit happier than.
Yeah. I with 2023, my hope is that we can look into the forecast now because we have endured everything, guys. We are now at the end of the year. We have been announced that our top project by volume and market cap is leaving for another blockchain. And oh, by the way, their second project, which is our second largest by market cap, is also leaving the blockchain. So we have that. Oh, by the way, SBF, which was pretty much the guy who led the charge for Solana, is a big old fraud, and now he's market dumping on all of us, which is just fun. So much fun. We have had to endure a lot. Fortunately, though, I don't think Solana is going anywhere. We are just the best blockchain in terms of tech. I try going to other places. I look at Ethereum. I try to look at Polygon. I minted stuff on Tezos and HBAR is pretty cool, but still the primitive. Look, I've been around the block and it just Solana feels like home. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to change in 2023. I will always remove my bag bias and explore other options. I think Ethereum is definitely going to be the play, moving forward in terms of bigger soul gains. And I know we all pretty much have Iron Paw whitelist with our holdings, so I'm sure we'll definitely be exploring that over there. But Solana's just it's going to be where my main focus is going to be until further notice. And who knows? So I guess I want to get your opinion on 2023. What do you think the range high will be for the year as far as Solana price goes? Do you think that we are going to see competition for this L1 status, especially if we keep market dumping from Sam? Thank you so much, SBF. And then what kind of meta do you think is going to be the most prominent? Is it going to be passive income? Is it going to be utility? Is it going to be PFP still? Are we going into a gaming meta or anything like that? So a few questions there. If you need me to recap those, I'm happy to. Let's kick it off with Joe first. Joe, what do you think our range high is going to be for Solana? Do we see a threat in the year? And then what kind of meta do you think is going to be the most prevalent?
Yeah, I'll keep this quick. First off, our big contender with Ethereum was our DeFi, right? No one really cared about our TPS or our echo chamber. And I think now, in order for Solana to survive as like a thriving L1, it's going to be the move towards gaming, right? The Solana phone, I think gaming really has to be at the forefront, and it has to prosper here in order to bring that liquidity that we need. Because I don't think we're going to get the main liquidity we need from normal investors coming playing with DeFi and locking stuff up here and building our TVL. I think it's going to come from gamifying and using our open source and our fast transactions and all that Solana gives in the best way possible. So yeah, I would say that we're definitely have to be careful as an L1 here in our contention in the series, but I think we have enough builders and market makers, right? If I had a lot of money, I would be looking at Solana right now like I was at LTC in 2017, right? That you could, if you realize how much is still being built here, what Rust does, and you can come and really market make this back to $10, $14, $22. Like I could see an ecosystem where we're buzzing again, but I do think gaming has to be at the forefront.
Yeah, I can see gaming getting somewhat of a narrative there. I got some thoughts on that, and I'll share it in a second. But Dor, let's kick it over to you. What do you think about 2023? Oh, Joe, what was your range high? What do you think our range high is going to be for Solana?
Man, I do think we have a possibility that 33-40 range. If we do rally, I think we can see that 30 to 40 range.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. God, I hope
that would take a couple hundred, 300-400 mil. That would put us back 3-4 spots in the market cap. So like that I could see that plausible. Just thinking market cap wise now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. I can definitely see that happening. God, I don't know. We just have a little bit different dynamic in terms of economy and SBF dumping everything as a large holder.
Yeah.
That makes it a little bit different than ETH, but
Solana has its own black swan. Normally, it's just the crypto market, or normally it's the equities, right? No, it's like no, the Solana token itself has had a old black swan event because the public ties SBF so tightly to Solana. I mean, if I would love Easy to go out in the street like he does and ask people if they think SBF started Solana or not, because I guarantee most people would say yes. Because I think that's like the base, and that's what sucks for us is like we have our own black swan event to deal with.
Yeah. It is the FTX collapsing thing happened to all the market, but SBF absolutely dumping on us right now is solely, I mean, you can see it in the price. Everything else is like kind of holding steady, ETH, BTC, all that good stuff, pretty much holding their price. Solana is down 17% on the day. So you can tell we got a market dumper, and probably Sam touching base on US soil. So Door, want to kick it over to you. What kind of range high do you think we get? What kind of meta do you think we have? And do we see any threats to Solana NFTs?
Yeah, so regarding range highs, I'm you guys both know I'm not a TA expert or anything, but like I'm not foreseeing any macroeconomic conditions change in the near future. So if we could get back between that $30 to $40 range, I think we'll be chilling there for a good bit. I don't see any massive pumps going on. As bad as 2022 has been for Solana, people always quick forget every chain goes through their growing pains, man. ETH went through their growing pains, and I think Solana has gone through its growing pains as well. Multiple shutdowns, freaking SBF screwing the chain over. It was a lot, but I think all of this has only made the chain stronger and more resilient. There's been no more talks about like shutting down. There's no more talks about like bonding issues because of NFTs. So while all this sucks, I'm still bullish on the future of the Solana as a chain. One of the best narratives I think we have for NFTs coming up is still gaming. I know other chains are trying to execute gaming, but I don't think any of them will be as successful as the ones on Solana because of the chain. We see this in the fact that Totally is still working on releasing the Solana phone will allow people to will allow gaming to, will allow crypto gaming or blockchain-based gaming to be brought to a wider audience because most people utilize their phones these days. So that's, I think, one of the main drivers or bullish cases for Solana is just scalability of gaming to normies. I'm also pretty bullish on community-based NFTs. I don't see any, I still think community is one of the best utilities for NFTs. And that's why all the top collections on ETH and in Solana are pretty much community focused. Well, we got apes over there, apes on ETH, doodles. They're not coming out with any tools or anything. It's just pure community. DeGods, yes, they've came up with SaaS tools and stuff, but it's primarily the community that got them to this point. So yes, I'm still bullish on community focused NFTs. And what was the last question, Bison?
What do you think the range high is going to be for Solana?
Oh yeah, 30 to like 45-ish. I don't think it's getting anything out of there. Hey, but at this point, that's like a 3 to 4x, man. Like, I'll take it. Like,
yeah, if you bought now and it goes to 40, it's a 5x. So
yeah, ease all day, dog. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So, Solami, well, what are we thinking over here? As far as looking into 2023, what are you foreseeing?
Yeah, I think definitely pricing wise, like, I mean, we got to think about it this way. Sam only has so much SOL. They got to stop selling at some point. I don't know when that is because, man, every time we think he's out, we're just going down another dollar or something. But it's got to stop selling at some point. It really does. And I think there's going to be people. I saw Big Brain even tweeted out yesterday. He said, hey, if you're a VC and you've got SOL locked up to 2025, reach out to us. We'll buy it OTC. And I think that there are people that are really interested in SOL. And like, when you get FTX Alameda leaving, there's a lot of big shoes to fill, like Joe talked about, as far as market makers and opportunity in this space with really good technology that is developed. And you're going to be able to get it at a really, really cheap cost. So people know about SOL, whether that's good or bad publicity in that sense. So I still think there's going to be a lot of opportunity here. As far as like ranging wise, I'm thinking we go back up maybe in that range that we were in from May to November. That kind of is like that $48 on the top side. Low side was like around 25, mostly around that 30 range though. That's where I kind of see us playing back up to. And I look at it too from like this side. It's like at this point we have $8 of downside. We really can only go down $8 more from here. If we go back up to $30 and get in that range, that's like a 3x. And that's not even asking for a lot. I don't even care about seeing all-time highs or anything like that again. We just simply don't need to. We are down so bad at this point that once this dumping stops from them, like I really think that the upside of Sol will be, it could be one of the highest valued assets of this year, similar to like you see it in a way where it's never the old coins that kind of have those runs again. You had the Sol Luna AVAX that was huge, but it's never like Litecoin or something that's been around a long time that kind of leads the charge for these ones. It's the new coins that come in, that new technology. But with the way that Sol is down so bad, I really think it could be one of those that competes for a massive, move in the next kind of bull market. Just dude got pushed completely inorganically. So that's going to be an interesting play. It's kind of like a rubber band. You're stretching back right now. And when it starts to move that way, once we get new buyers that come into the space that are certainly happy to buy at these levels, considering we got people that were happy to buy at 250, it's going to be interesting to see, because I think you're going to have a lot of people scared out of their positions right now that bought a lot higher and probably aren't going to pull the trigger at some of these low levels, but I'm sure they'll buy when it gets back up to those crazy levels up there. So it's an interesting game right now. You're definitely knife catching. Don't dive in and spend money you can't afford to lose. But for us guys that really believe in this chain, and we have a multi-year time horizon on a lot of these assets, I think it gives us some really cheap Sol to kind of play around with and do what we do best, which is trade some NFTs. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement as far as where I think the range high is going to be. I do think it's going to be, like you said, Solami. I'm looking at my green lines on my chart, and they're saying, I'm reading the tea leaves, I'm reading the tarot cards, right? I definitely see between 37 and 47. So it really just depends on how much velocity. I think it also depends on how far we go down too, because if we do go down to like $3 to $4, like you're talking a 10x return back to 47, 10x plus. So I think it depends on how much we dump. I honestly hope we stop dumping here soon. It just feels like, if you look at the bottom of what I'm looking at right here, like the high sevens or high to mid sevens, it's a 97% decrease from our all-time highs. I think that's the bottom. I want to keep catching knives. I'm not doing that anymore. I bought yesterday and now I'm down like 20%. So actually like 17, but nonetheless, yeah, I do think we stop here soon. I think the bleeding stops. I think too many people are calling for $3 to $4 Solana. And if that's the case, dude, all in. I'm second mortgaging the house. I'm doing it all, dude. Like I will pull out everything to buy that cheap Solami, and I will continue flipping because look, my hedge right now is bonking NFTs. I keep making money on them. Even with Solana going down. Look, if I market sold my soul, I'm still up. I'm still up in this time frame. So look, if I continue being profitable, it's way easier being profitable when the asset's in the green. I just, I gotta imagine the selling stops here soon, or at least the heavy selling, and then we find our low, and from there it's just a moonshot. So it'll probably take a year to play out, guys, too. Like we're saying, 2023 is probably going to be the year of finding a range high for a crab market, and then we'll go from like the 10s to 30 to 40 or whatever that looks like. And it's going to be kind of boring, but you could still trade. That's a 400% swing trade if you get in at 10 and it goes to 40. So keep that in mind. Not financial advice, like Solami said. As far as meta goes, we keep saying that we need our DeFi system healed, and I think it's going to be NFTs that look. We've already seen utility play off. We've already seen NFTFi start being a thing where we have leverage plays. We have futures on NFTs. We have core coming out in January. I think NFTFi will continue to be hot, at least for the first half of the year. I think we're going to need more NFTs that bridge the gap to DeFi itself, and not just NFTFi. Like the NFT financial system infrastructure we're getting right now is great, and I think it'll lead to some sort of DeFi integrated something to help out with our DeFi systems, because I guarantee you so many people in NFTs have not like learned about DeFi. They haven't learned about liquidity pools. The only liquidity pools they know is like Hade Swap or the Elixir or anything like that. They don't know about concentrated liquidity market makers or anything like that. They don't know about these pools that you can get swap fees on. I think when you start having that TVL go up, that's when we start going up. And I think NFTs can be a really powerful tool in order to enable that. So I'm hoping that we see something like that. I know JShep has something somewhat cooking up for education and loan platforms. I think something like Sharkify, except somehow bridges over to the actual DeFi space with tokens, is going to be needed in the future. So I think something DeFi related. I am bullish on gaming. It's just, look, games are expensive. I think games are like, they are very expensive to develop. Something that is going to reach out of Web3 and grab people in. STEPN was the closest thing we saw to it. We saw huge backing. We saw huge profits when they first started taking off. Like eMoney was posting in the dojo chat, they posted 122 mil in profits for Q2 of last year. That's insane. So they do have runway. And I think more people need to adopt the model that STEPN had, where there wasn't a cap. They were making money on these mints. People were using it. It just needs to be in a less of a Ponzi way. It needs to have some sort of fun attached to it. So the people, like, look, life is Ponzi. I know that sounds so like sixth grade emo right there. Like, life's a Ponzi, whatever. But it kind of is.
Yes.
You just need to have people that enjoy the Ponzi in the meantime and not just focus on the returns or anything. So I think games that focus more on the fun, that don't cap the player size, and really make it to where it's seamless, and the average person who downloads it from the App Store doesn't realize that it is blockchain gaming. It'll just be gaming. I think is going to be empowering. So if we see something like that in Solana, I'm all in. But the one thing about Solana, and the one thing I hate about it, is that we don't incubate well enough in terms of, we don't have like, we just lost a ton of people to Polygon. Polygon is out here buying, and who knows if that's going to end well or not. But I would just like to see a little bit more incubation. I would love to see some bigger names step up. Like, I love Soul Big Brain coming in, and he's like, hey, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Who's funding? Who can build the best stuff? And we need more big brains and Boogles and people backing this system if we're going to see any chance of gaming in Solana. So if that happens, I'm right there with you. I'm definitely bullish on gaming for 2023, especially in a boredom meta. So we'll see. My bet is on DeFi, though. If we're talking about threats, I would say Sui is really the only thing that's coming out here in the next year that I know has gotten a lot of attention from developers on how smooth and transition it is to Sui. But I think one of the people that are more technologically advanced and know more about programming and stuff say that our programming language over here is just more robust. You can do way more stuff with it. So I think eventually we'll still win out. I don't see a huge threat from Sui, but I see much more of a threat from it than Aptos. Like Aptos.
Yeah, like I think it'll be like one of those narrative wins. Like people will like initially start using the chain. They'll be like, oh, this experience is so smooth, blah, blah, blah. But then when it becomes that breaking point, when too many people start using it, you're going to start encountering issues like every other chain that has happened so far. And then how bullish are you when when Sui has to start shutting down, or Sui's fucking messing up? Oh God, I cursed again. Sorry. When Sui starts messing up or something.
No, I think they're just going to go through growing pains too.
Like everybody else.
I think that's it, guys. We've run about 20 minutes past our normal hour that we normally do. Guys, I appreciate your time. It has been a hell of a year, and I know 2023 is going to be even better. I'm excited for it. We'll be continuing doing our show every Tuesday, Thursday. We will be talking more alpha on the future shows. If you guys followed our calls last week, they have all printed. Liberty Square up massively. Ovals had a nice run. Kalanosaurs went up. Pretty much the whole market went up, but not everything. And we just happened to pick some of the best winners in that market. So RareFUD to the moon. I know No Fluff Solami Mommy called Liberty Square as well, and he's been on ovals. We looked at Apin 2 together, and that thing
Yeah.
ran for a little bit. It's going to be wild. So anyways, I appreciate you guys' time. If you guys want to sign off with anything, make sure you guys are listening to No Fluff Entertainment. They do have a space every day, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the weekdays. Go check out Solami Mommy over there. We're always happy to have them on the show. And yeah, I think that's it. Any closing remarks, guys, before we sign off?
Yeah, I like to thank everybody for like rocking with us since we started. Back in August, man. Time flies. I feel like we're just going to take off in the new year. I think we finally got our legs under us. We went through a little RareFUD growing pains, but we're there, man. So I think we're going to take off in the new year. Shout out to Solami for joining us in our final episode of 2022. It's great to have you on, man. I loved hanging out with you in Miami, and I'm glad that you decided to join us today, and hopefully you'll join us in the future. But yeah, man, super excited to be hanging out with Bison and Joe as well. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's a pleasure. I've always been a huge fan of you guys. I love the alpha. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little selfish. I didn't want to tell other people about it because I was literally like, I'm just gonna soak in all this alpha myself. Don't want to get my calls from run, but seriously, you guys do such a great job over here. You guys have had some huge weeks and huge months as well. So I think that's a testament just that you guys are pretty on top of it in tune with this market, giving out a lot of free good knowledge to people. So love what you guys are doing. Keep it up, man. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for letting me come on.
I appreciate it, Solami.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys, the listeners, for rocking with us this entire year. It has been definitely our startup year in 2023. We're coming after it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that little subscribe button. It is free. Turn on the bell notice if you want to know when we go live and when we post shorts too. Dorian has been cooking over there with the shorts. We appreciate it. Make sure you check out all our podcasting platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We are on Twitter. We do it all for you guys, and we do it for free. So please go ahead and support the channel however you can. That about does it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to RareFUD Radio in 2022. And the next time we talk, it'll be 23. I'm excited. Let's get after it. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning into RareFUD Radio.